Have you ever opened your phone for just a moment and closed it feeling worse than before? You weren't looking for trouble. You were just scrolling, just checking. Someone got promoted. Someone bought a house. Someone looks happier, fitter, more confident than you. And suddenly, your own life feels smaller. Your achievements lose their shine. Your progress feels slow. Your joy feels fragile. You tell yourself, I should be happy for them. And maybe you are. But somewhere inside, a quiet voice whispers, why not me? Am I behind? What am I doing wrong? If you've ever felt this ache, this silent heaviness that comes from comparing your life to someone else's, stay with me. Because this story is not about ambition or improvement. It's about understanding why comparison slowly steals your happiness, and how the moment you stop measuring yourself against others, your life begins to feel like your own again. There once lived a man named Ethan in a town surrounded by long roads and open fields. Ethan was not unhappy with his life, at least not at first. He had a steady job, a small home, a few close friends. Nothing extraordinary, nothing terrible. But Ethan had a habit that quietly grew stronger each year. He compared his income to his coworkers, his progress to his friends, his life timeline to people he barely knew. In Ethan's mind, every comparison became a scale. On one side was his life. On the other side was someone else's. And no matter how much he added to his side effort, discipline, improvement, the scale always seemed tilted. Someone was always ahead, always faster, always happier. At first, Ethan believed comparison motivated him. It pushes me, he said. It keeps me sharp. But slowly, something changed. The scale grew heavier. Every time he saw someone succeed, a new weight appeared on the other side. Every time he failed, the scale dropped lower. Ethan stopped enjoying what he had because he was always measuring it against what he didn't. At night, he lay awake thinking, I'm doing everything right, so why do I feel so far behind? One morning, after another restless night, Ethan decided to walk beyond the town. I need perspective, he told himself. I need to understand why I feel this way. He followed a long road that led into the hills. As he walked, he imagined the scale he carried inside. Heavy, never balanced, never satisfied. Eventually, Ethan reached a wide open field. In the center stood an old man arranging stones carefully on the ground. The stones were all different sizes, different shapes, different colors, yet the old man handled each one with equal care. Ethan stopped and watched. What are you doing? Ethan asked. The old man looked up and smiled gently. I'm sorting paths, he said. Paths? Ethan asked. Yes, the old man replied. Everyone walks a different one. Ethan frowned. I feel like I'm falling behind, he admitted suddenly. No matter what I do, someone else always seems ahead. The old man gestured for Ethan to sit. Then let me show you what you're really carrying, he said. The old man picked up 2 stones, one smooth and light, one heavy and rough. He placed them on opposite sides of a wooden plank balanced on a rock. A simple scale. This, he said, pointing to the smooth stone, is your life. And this, he said, pointing to the heavier stone, is someone else's highlight. The scale tilted instantly. Ethan nodded. That's exactly how it feels, he said. The old man smiled kindly. Now watch. He lifted the heavier stone and replaced it with another, then another. Each time, the scale tipped again. Do you see? The old man asked. No matter which stone you place there, the scale never rests. Ethan felt a tightness in his chest. That's my life, he whispered. No matter what I do, I never feel enough. The old man nodded. Because you are measuring a path that was never meant to be compared. Ethan looked confused. But everyone compares, he said. It's natural. The old man's eyes softened. Yes, he replied. And that is why so many people are unhappy. The old man stood and gestured toward the hills. "Look," he said. Paths crisscrossed the landscape, some steep, some winding, some straight. "Do these paths lead to the same place?" the old man asked. Ethan shook his head. "No," he said. "They're completely different." The old man smiled. "Then why?" he asked gently. "Do you insist on measuring your journey by someone else's steps?" Ethan felt the question sink deeply. All this time, he had believed his pain came from not having enough. But now he saw another truth. His pain came from constantly checking where he stood compared to others. Comparison had not inspired him. It had erased his presence. The old man reached into Ethan's chest in imagination and pulled out the scale. "Feel this," he said. Ethan felt the weight clearly. Heavy, cold, demanding. "This scale," the old man said, "turns every blessing into pressure." Ethan realized something painful. Moments that once brought joy. A quiet morning, steady progress, small wins, had lost their meaning. Not because they were small, but because he was always asking, "How does this compare?" The old man placed the scale gently on the ground. "Your life is not behind," he said. "It is simply yours." Ethan felt tears rise unexpectedly. All his life, he had been racing against invisible opponents, chasing timelines that were never his. And in doing so, he had missed the life happening right in front of him. "But if I stop comparing," Ethan asked quietly, "how will I know if I'm doing well?" The old man smiled. "You will feel it," he said. "You won't need proof." He handed Ethan one of the stones. "Hold this," he said. "This stone represents your path." Ethan held it. It felt solid, grounded. "Now," the old man continued, "imagine dropping everyone else's stones." In Ethan's mind, the extra stones fell away. The scale disappeared. For the first time, he felt space. Not excitement, not pride, peace. Ethan stayed in the field for a long time. He watched the old man continue his work, placing stones not in comparison, but in alignment. When Ethan finally stood to leave, he felt lighter. Not because his life had changed, but because his attention had. He returned home with a new awareness. The next time he saw someone succeed, the familiar ache appeared. But instead of feeding it, Ethan paused. He placed his hand on his chest. "That is their path," he reminded himself. "This is mine." Slowly, the weight softened. Days turned into weeks. Ethan didn't stop wanting to grow. He stopped wanting to compete with lives that weren't his. His joy returned in small moments. His progress felt real again. His life felt present. Now, my friend, let me offer you a simple practice you can begin today. When you notice yourself comparing, pause for one breath. Place your hand on your chest. Ask yourself gently, "Am I measuring or am I living?" Then ask, "What part of my life am I ignoring right now?" Bring your attention back to what is real, not relative. Do this often. Comparison is a habit, and habits can be unlearned. Here is the truth many people never realize. Comparison does not show you where you stand. It only shows you where you are not. Happiness does not come from being ahead of others. It comes from being aligned with yourself. The moment you stop comparing your path to someone else's, you stop walking against your own life. And that is the moment your happiness finally has space to breathe.